I'm sitting here with Julie Brown, who lived and worked in England and moved to Belgium a couple of years ago. Even though she's been living in Belgium, she does not speak Dutch. Would you care to introduce yourself, Julie?
Yes, sure. Hi, I'm Julie Brown. I was born on March 2nd, 1972 in Glasgow, which is in Scotland, which will explain my accent. I actually moved with my parents to Sussex when I was about 15 due to my father's work. He was an engineer and had to move for the company. So that's where I stayed before I got married and moved to Belgium.
Okay, thank you, Julie. To make things a little bit more casual, how are you today?
Well, today not so bad. I'm actually quite good, thank you.
Okay, I'm glad to hear that. So let's get to the chase, shall we? For starters, I'd like to ask what kind of job you did over the canal.
Well, actually, due to family issues, my parents split up when I was 18, so I had to leave school. So I finished school, but didn't have a higher diploma, so I went to work as a housekeeper, a maid, as you would call it here. But I loved the job. I worked in big houses with very friendly people, doing some cleaning, doing some cooking, looking after the kids, and it was actually very rewarding.
Okay, and what is it that you do now?
But the same actually, except for over here in Belgium, it's more like you don't actually look after the kids. You just do the housekeeping, you do some cleaning, some ironing. You don't so much do the cooking. It's actually more the household more than the other stuff that comes along with it.
Okay, thank you. And if you had to name the three biggest differences between Belgium and England, which would those be?
Oh, I think the biggest difference definitely must be how expensive Belgium actually is. If you see what people earn here, working here for years, and how much they actually have to pay in taxes, it's way beyond what we paid in England or even Scotland. It's actually, yes, it's very expensive, and of course, I think even though I've been living here for years and I actually like living here, Belgian people aren't very sociable, aren't very open, and aren't very lovable towards foreigners. Maybe with their own people they're a bit more open and sociable, but not with foreigners, I don't think.
And do you have is there a big difference between the people you work for, like your bosses, in England or in Belgium?
Yeah, actually about the same, because over in England, of course I was that much younger, maybe that was the difference, but over in England it's you were actually part of the family, because over in England there was an attitude like, the family doesn't work without the maid, doesn't work without the housekeeper, and you were a part of that family, because once you weren't there, that was it. The household stopped, everything stopped. Whereas over here, people look kind of down on you, and you are only the housekeeper, and you're only just the one keeping the house clean, and that's it. And you do your hours, you get paid, and people expect more and more and more from you over the years, and that is actually a big difference. Belgian people aren't very grateful, let's say.
Okay, and keeping these differences in mind, which country would you prefer to live in?
Well, if it were possible, I would go back to England anytime. Yeah,
And what
any day.
keeps you from doing so?
Well, the biggest reason for not going back actually is my husband.
Do you mean Anna's stepfather?
I mean, no, I mean my ex-husband. He was very abusive. Used to knock me around, knocked me into hospital a couple of times, and at one point you have to choose. You have to choose whether you have to live that life and expect things to change, or actually, take things into your own hands and make a move, not just for you, but also for your child, because at some point you have to ask yourself, is this where it actually stops? Will it stop with abusing me, or will it actually go further and move on to my daughter? And that's a risk I couldn't take. So that's actually why I moved, and if it weren't for that, I would move back to England. But I know for a fact that once I go back, he'll find me and it'll all start again, and I just won't take that risk.
Okay, I'm sorry, Anna only told me bits and pieces, so I didn't know
that's
was
okay.
that serious.
You have to know the full story.
On a more business-related note, would you recommend people who want to go abroad to go to England?
Yeah,
Or-
for sure. Yeah, I would, because I think there's a lot of opportunities, more for foreigners in Britain than actually for foreigners in Belgium, because I feel like Belgians have got this attitude of we have to take care of our own. We have to make sure Belgian people are satisfied. They've all got a job. They've all got this. They've all got that. And you don't actually have that in England. I mean, English people take care of their own as well. But if you see how many different nationalities actually have a good and highly recommended job in England, the difference is really very big. I mean, you've got all these nationalities. You've got Afghans, Pakistanis, Indian people. I mean, from all over the world, and they're treated the same actually as British people. Whereas in Belgium, I can't really say that that's actually true. That there is still a difference, no matter what job you choose for. I think there really is still a difference.
Okay, thank you. And do you see yourself in the future moving away from Belgium, or do you think you're happy enough here to stay here?